Hello and welcome to a very special episode of What Do You Call It podcast. I'm your host, GB. Let me introduce my guests today. Both are food enthusiasts. One is an actor, former host of hit TV series Man vs. Food, Casey Webb. Casey, say hello.
Hey, what's going on?
Awesome. And we're joined by his partner, Mark. Mark Conway. How you doing today, mate? You all good?
Doing great. How are you guys?
All good, mate. All good. Cannot complain. At time of recording, it's in the evening. So I get to chill, talk to you guys for the next 20, 30 minutes. And we're actually going to begin by discussing the FoodSport Pro League. So last month, you had your inaugural event. Could you guys tell the listeners about this event and essentially how FPL was created?
Sure. Food Sport Pro League is it's essentially a league like you would expect out of something like the NFL or Major League Baseball, professional football, and mix that with a lot of your WWE action, excitement, fire, flair, pizzazz to kind of take cooking competitions out of the proverbial kitchen and straight into live fire. Where it came from is I've spent the last 10, 15 years in and around food sport, which is competition cooking from barbecue to pizza to tacos to international cuisine. And really just saw over that time span, there was a need for something more, something that kind of connected everything together. And honestly, brought the fun back into it. Brought trash talking, brought the personalities involved. And so here, right at the end of last year, we decided to launch the Food Sport Pro League and the Ultimate Eating Championships, and it's been a wild ride already.
Nice, nice. Casey, tell me more. Tell me about the first event that you had last month.
So, the beauty about competition, or at least in the United States, there's a lot of competitions. And the real first one of the new year was at the Shed, which is the Shed Showdown. And based on our relationships, lots of Mark really putting his nose to the grindstone, making the calls, sending out the emails to the pros who compete on the regular basis at events like the Shed Showdown, and we had people show up to our event, which was the first inaugural Food Sport Pro League competition, and then we piggybacked it with the Ultimate Eating Championship, and that's kind of where Mark and I came together. We met at World Food Championship this past year, and kind of forged this partnership along with Robert Gilbert, and we decided to take the leagues on the road, and we did that first at the Shed with the Showdown. So folks that competed with us showed up early to compete, which is incredible. Like, people are coming from Wisconsin. People are driving 18 hours from California to come compete early and then spend the whole weekend and compete in this annual Shed Showdown, which is basically the kickoff for of the year. What's one of the first, the biggest of the year to kick off all of these competitions that we have here in the States, if you're not familiar. So, I mean, I don't know, Mark, we've been talking about this since it happened. We're still buzzing from it because as a result, we've been invited to several other events around the country um, to bring our Food Sport Pro League and the Ultimate Eating Championship to their show. And that's the beauty about the business model, or the model of it, is that we're not creating our own event. We're just piggybacking and joining events that already exist and bringing the fun, as Mark said. And they're quick, they're fast cooks. They're not 4-day cooks. They're not 2-day cooks. It's a 45-minute competition with the Food Sports Pro League, and then Ultimate Eating is literally 10 to 15, 20 minutes. Less than a half an hour. We have in less than an hour, we have really two fun programs that we could double up. If it's a longer weekend event, we could do multiple of these. Yeah, the needless to say, it was a really good kickoff. We had a lot of great turnout, and it kind of set the tone for the rest of the year for us, because now we're going to five, as a result, five different events in the next few months to show what we can do. So.
Nice, that's good to hear. Do you have any plans to expand sort of overseas, maybe the UK?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, we're going everywhere. The cool thing is it's opened up an opportunities for us, right, Mark? Just to, internationally, not just the UK, but all around the United States. over to Middle East, potentially Japan,
Oh wow.
and just for starters. So yeah, it's exciting because we want to. This is not just a regional thing for us. This is global. You think about. I always compare it to like UFC meets WWF. And it's its own sport. For doing Man versus Food since 2017, doing technically, I guess I'm still the host. There's no new host. We just haven't filmed in a bit, and so essentially took the show on the road. But I'm not competing. I'm hosting, which is fun. It's been very freeing to not have to eat, you know, something huge or hot. You know what I mean? So it's been a lot of fun to be on the other side of it, and people, the response is, like I said, it's been really good. We're excited.
I'm glad that you're getting good response, and I can see the passion already, and I can hear it, and I've
It's
seen it on
caffeine,
social media
actually.
before.
It's caffeine. It's making it up. Yeah. So
Fair enough. Have you had sort of would say your bigger challenges have been so far going into the FBL? So if you talk about the positive stuff, but going into it and
the
making it
biggest
happen.
challenges.
Yeah.
Uh, are you familiar with money? No, money. No, I'm just kidding. Mark, what do you think? What have been our biggest challenges? I mean, people
Um,
want to do it. That's the thing. People
Yeah.
want to participate. So it's logistics, planning. It's a lot of that. And we hit the ground running, and now it's like we're playing catch up because once we kicked it off, now there's desire for it, and people want to see it again and again. So it's figuring it out. So maybe a little cart before the horse.
well, I think it's kind of like if you open a restaurant. You have a lot of prep work and getting that restaurant open. You open into big rave reviews and it's great. Then the object is how do you sustain it and how do you handle your food costs and your operational budget and your staff. And with us, we're not in a fixed location. So we're going to be all over the world. As Casey said, we're talking to groups in every corner of the world right now that want to have a division in the league. And so you're balancing US based growth with international growth, but at the same time, they all play together. We're not separating it. If you're a division in the US and you're a division in Japan, the same league, and you're all going towards the same. So, and realistically, this is brand new. This is food sport's been around for hundreds of years. Like it's you either the first competition cooking were things like at the county fairs and you know work chili cook-offs and things like that. And
Right.
now you're up to television and that kind of number. But now we're taking it to another level where everybody that cooks everywhere on different television shows, in different restaurants, at different barbecue events, they're all competing on the same playing field. So we're kind of redeveloping what the landscape looks like.
Pretty cool, mate. Pretty cool. I wish you both obviously success, and I can tell it's going to take off. And there's a lot of passion to it. It's awesome. Mark, when did you develop a love for food and sort of more than something you consume, but just making it into sort of a business and eventually becoming a partner with Casey?
Oh man, I started off in restaurants. Like my first job was washing dishes in my aunt and uncle's restaurant. And from there I didn't go straight into food. I went into sales, marketing, business, and then came back around the food and became a chef, an executive chef, ran restaurants, food trucks. And when my daughters were born, it was okay, I don't have 85 hours to spend in a restaurant anymore. What am I going to do? And so I started going food media. And it's been a pretty wild ride with cooking competitions ever since. And then, of course, meeting Casey, we're going to another level with cooking competitions and eating competitions.
Yeah, cool, mate. Uh, Casey,
Just
the host
adjusting
of
my
Man versus
lights
Food.
here. I got
Oh, that's
some
cool. No
raw
worries.
California light here. I'm
No worries.
yeah, I'm in, there we go. That's better.
Awesome.
Yeah, much like Mark, I think most people, some countries they force is maybe a strong choice of words, but they require that you join the military. So I feel like I never was never in the military myself, but I feel like everyone should be in the restaurant business. Very much like, just so you cut your teeth on it. So yeah, for me, it was washing dishes at 14 in a pizza place, and then I was back at the house for a really long time. Learned how to cook there. did a bunch of vocational culinary. Never had to, and from there, it was there. In life, you're lucky if you're lucky enough if you find your people. I found my people several times. That in restaurant business, production, and then sports, and then with acting. So I've been pretty fortunate to have these communities of people, like-minded people, and a lot of them are similar. If you think about production, or you think about restaurant work, or you think about the acting community, and sports, it's all kind of a team effort. So there we go. So yeah, for me, it was pretty easy. When I got the show Man versus Food, my worlds collided, and from there, it just took me to the stratosphere. I had no intention on being on a travel food show, but that was the audition, and one audition led to that audition, which led to several years of my life, 90 episodes and 6 seasons later, but it also threw me into a much bigger pool, or with the business, because I've stayed in it, and largely, now Mark and I hosting FoodSports Pro League and Ultimate Eating Championship on the road, because TV is, it's a lot of television, which it was very good to me. It's been very good to me. It's changing, and a lot of the spoils go to the top tier people, and in our opinion, the people that are doing the real work are on the ground, like at the shed. There are people that travel all over the country to be there because it's like a family. People went there to compete. People showed up for Mark and what Mark has established in the business, and hopefully they showed up a little bit for me, and then obviously for the shed, the people at the shed,
Yeah,
Brad and Brooke, who run the show over there. And yeah, I mean, it's different. Like people say, like it will show, like, oh, speak to Man versus Food again, is like, I'm the host, of course, but there's 30 people that make that show go around. It's very much like production. There's, or restaurant. It's not just a chef. It's everybody else that works there. So sports, not just the quarterback or the receiver. It's everybody. So those rules apply across the board for me. And I wouldn't want to do this alone. I'm not a solo artist in the least, and so teaming up with Mark's been incredible. And just we have a really good skeleton crew team, and we're just building off of that. And again, like we tapped into a world that's already been there. And we're not a TV show coming in and broadcasting what we're doing. We're really showing the work of people on the ground doing it, real competitors, people that do this for the love of it. And then maybe if they're good enough, they win, and they continue to win. But the support itself is incredible. You really see it. It's not like um, TV, you don't know. You only get responses on your social media, but like when you're at an event and you hear the crowd, and you're part of the experience, it's a lot more palatable and it's a lot more fun,
yeah,
and we're having a blast. So, and we only did one, you know,
more
so
to
we
come,
got
and it's
another one
only
coming at the end of the month.
February.
So,
That's it.
yeah,
Just going to take a quick break from the food talk.
yeah,
Mark, just because I was talking to Katie before recording, told me you're a big wrestling fan. Predominantly, it's a bit of a wrestling podcast. I'm going to quickly ask you,
Yep.
growing up, who were your
Yep.
favorite wrestlers? I'm like a big kid when it comes to wrestling, so I'm going to ask you, Mark. I've got to do it.
Yeah, no, good question. Sting. Sting was one of
Yeah,
my, I mean, that was my guy all the way through. Guys like him, those core wrestlers at the very beginning. DDP, love DDP. When I was a kid, one of my first wrestling matches I ever went, DDP would always crowd. He literally jumped over the railings and landed right on my foot. It wasn't quite a high
nice.
five, but I didn't wash my shoe forever after that.
it was
Claims
a
to
high
fame.
foot. You got a high foot.
Yeah, I got a high foot. It was kind of a low foot.
Have you still got that
Low
But
shoe
foot.
then?
that shoe is probably long since destroyed at the way I ran as a kid, but I wish I did still have it. But those are the guys, so but always Sting was the list.
Nice. It's a bit of a WCW guy then. So I was actually speaking to Casey before. He's mentioned about like Bam Bam Bigelow and sort of being a wrestling fan himself, but WWF, an old school fan like me as well. Casey, I've got to ask you about one of your acting gigs before we do resume the full talk,
Sure.
because fellow Brit, so I've got to ask you about Stephen Graham. What was it like to be killed by Stephen Graham?
So,
I will
Mark,
elaborate a
if you're
bit
not
more.
familiar,
So
if you haven't seen my highlight reel or my acting reel, I was lucky enough to be in Boardwalk Empire, and Stephen Graham, who plays Al Capone in the previous scene, his brother gets killed by Chicago cops, and so the role that I got was a Chicago cop. We filmed it in Brooklyn underneath the Williamsburg Bridge, but they made it look like Chicago. There was 25 vintage cars, probably 75 people. It's HBO, there's a crane. It started raining. So Stephen Graham, oh, I tell you this story. Stephen Graham, so I go into the trailer to get makeup done. They shave my face. I look like a baby, like a pink baby, and then no sideburns, slick back hair very much like this. And I walk in, I sit down, and I hear this guy talking, and I'm like, he was very cockney, right? It was
yeah,
like I didn't understand what he was saying, He was like, and I was like, "Is that him?" And they're like, "Yeah, that's Steven." I'm like, "Okay." And so in the scene, he gets out of a limousine on the street, walks directly to me. I'm reading a newspaper on the front of a Model T police car, and he shoots me directly in the face. I roll off the front of the car onto the ground. Crane shot. Starts raining. I'm dead. Pool of blood spills out the side of my head. Yeah, my agent wanted more for me. He's like, I was like, but I got killed by Al Capone, and I was in the trailer too, so wasn't so bad.
honestly, I would. If that's my only acting credit, I'd be a very, very happy actor, knowing I
Not a
just got
bad
killed by
one. It
Stephen
was a
Graham.
good death. It was a good death. I got to be on an HBO show. It's filmed down the street from where I lived, and Stephen Graham, just a tremendous actor. And I'm yeah, lucky I got shot in the face by Stephen Graham.
Awesome. Not jealous at all. I am a little bit. Honestly, like over here, like we adore him loads. He's uh
Sure.
he's awesome.
Isn't he from where you are?
No, he's because he changes accent all the time. I think he's actually from Liverpool, but he can do a Cockney
Yes,
accent
you're
really
right.
well.
Yeah.
But
He's,
because
he's
he's been doing
Liverpoolian.
accents so much, I think his Cockney accent, no, sorry, his Scouse accent isn't as strong as it used to be. And because he
Yeah.
goes to America quite a lot now, I think he's lost a lot of it. But he does a Cockney accent really, really
Oh,
good.
he had it that day, I tell you.
Hello there. I've got a special announcement for my next guest.
Hola, I'm Shelly Martinez, and this is Minnie, and I'm going to be the next guest on the What Do You Call It podcast. Tune in.
Yeah, I heard. We just took a quick break then, but I was actually just going to ask Mark about some of his food challenges that he's participated, or if he has.
Yeah, no, normally I don't get the pleasure of actually competing. I'm usually running them or I write them and produce them. But one of these days I'm going to get behind the cutting board and throw down with some people.
You got to do
You
it.
heard it here,
Is there
folks. You
anything?
heard it here. You heard it live.
Is there
It's gonna
anything that
happen.
you would refuse to participate? So if it's got like I don't know mushrooms or onions or anything like, nah, not having that.
Oh man, if it's a broccoli challenge, you can count me right out. Um,
Cooking or eating?
I don't even want to be around it.
Yeah.
That broccoli is shrubbery for in front of the house, and that's where it should stay. I may have a strong opinion on that.
No broccoli for this guy.
Nope.
Casey, I know you've participated in many, many food challenges, and even if you have lost them, you've gone down swinging.
Thank
Tell
you.
me about your scariest challenges that you've participated in.
Dating in my dating in New York City was always difficult. Honestly, the first few and then everyone after that, they all had their own level of difficulty, or because in the beginning I was like, oh, I could do this. How hard could it be? And I honestly I phoned it in, and I got crushed. So I had to figure out how the pros do it. That's why it's been so bittersweet to host. This is literally like it was my first hosting of a food challenge. So it was. I talk about this just with a great deal of compassion because it was very freeing, and I joke about it, but I feel like I got a bit of myself back from the first one that I had to take on and or lost. So they all have their level of difficulty. I'm not the greatest at it. Never was, never will be. People often say, they provoke or challenge me to a challenge, and I just tell them to make sure they have their checkbook ready because I'm not doing it for nothing. You know. So honestly, like it was probably before because I did try the milk challenge. Have you ever tried the milk challenge? You try to drink a gallon of milk. I don't
I
recommend it.
actually haven't,
And
to be
there's
honest.
this, oh, it's rough because your body, we're not cows. We're not supposed to drink that much milk. And then the cinnamon challenge, boy, that's fun. You could, I don't recommend this to anybody. Zero challenges. Life is challenging enough. You don't need to, consume hot or huge amounts of food. Um, yeah, I think, yeah, you know, I've done some cooking challenges. And those are fun, because you learn real fast on your toes how not good you are when you're given a limited amount of time. So I do like it though, because it really forces you to create and make in the moment, in the cooking sphere. So yeah, I think with Mark, it might come down to me and Mark doing one of our own at some point. I don't know. We have to compete against each other.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think that would
so
be kind
Um,
of fun.
yeah, I did. Oh, one of the hardest ones was Harry Connick Jr. I don't know if you know who that is. Him and I had to make gingerbread houses on his old TV show, and he kicked my butt making a gingerbread house.
the fact you can do
This
it
is
on the camera as well, like for me personally, don't get me wrong, I love to pick out and I like a challenge and stuff. But for you to have the personality you do as well, even if when you do don't finish it, but for the fans to cheer you on, behind you. Personally,
Mhm.
I'd be running to the toilet or I'd be swearing away. But you do keep some kind of composure when you're doing it. I'd be probably crying or
Thank
I'd nearly
you.
shit myself.
That's acting. They call that acting. My finest work. I mean, Shakespeare spoke about it, but you know who that is? Shakespeare. You ever hear?
I know Shakespeare. I had to deal with him 5 years at school, unfortunately. Yeah,
Yeah, same.
it's kind of ruined my childhood a little bit. What has the impact of man versus food had in your life as we're coming to the end of this interview?
You know, I, for me, it took me out of the city that any food regionally that I ever tried was from New York City. So the show brought me out of the city, out of New York City, and into, you know, um, like coastal the Carolina and for low country food and to all the barbecue spots around the country to Northern California and seafood. And, I got to really taste the foods of the United States around the country, which was that was amazing. And it's also, what I found was what I fell in love with was not only the travel and the food, but the people. Because every episode, there's three different cooking segments and, I mean, de facto culinary school, after 240 some odd restaurants, learning how to cook, how they make their thing, and a lot of these items weren't just huge or hot. That was like one of them in the third segment of the show. But the people I met along the way and the knowledge that I was able to take from them and how they do things. I mean, family recipes, because a lot of these places were mom and pop places. So there's a tremendous amount of value from that experience and just having conversations. I mean, a lot of what my job was mining for sound bites so we could piece this show together. So I had a lot of conversations with a lot of people on and off camera, and oftentimes the producer would be like, "Hey, we gotta go." I'm like, "All right, I'll be right there." I'm the last person getting into the car, going back to the hotel, or yeah. So it's been that. I always said, people have time for me, I have time for them, and that's true to today. I see people in the airport that might have watched the show or seen the show. Like I'm often the one who's talking, and they're like, "We got to catch the flight, so we'll see you later." So
I
yeah,
think we
man,
just lost Mark.
people. Oh, Mark.
Unfortunately, Mark's having some technical difficulties, but
Mark's having
um,
some technical difficulties. That's okay. I think I'm speaking enough for both of us, but yeah. So I mean, we appreciate you having us on. It's been a really cool experience so far. It's like all the things that him and I worked on solely in our careers have brought us to the precipice of what Food Sports Pro League and Ultimate Eating Championship is. it's bigger than us. It's about the people. It's about the places. It's about travel. It's about,
Mhm.
you know, it's a lot. It's about people coming together. So, there's it's we have our work cut out for us for sure, but I think we're uniquely qualified to take this on. And yeah, we're just happy we're getting things that, take this show on the road. Woo.
Awesome. Last question for you both. It's a fun one, and it is
Oh,
food related, but it doesn't have to be food guest. So, Mark, give me three dream dinner guests for your dream party, dead or alive, fiction, non-fiction, can be anyone. Three guests and a quick reason as to why you want them there. Go. Give me
Okay.
number one.
Number one, Harrison Ford. 100%. 100%. He's just,
Indy.
dude, he is just the last great male icon in cinema. Really is. Legend. Um, Next to that, and this is going to be very telling about what a nerd and dork I am. Mark Hamill. He took what launched a very promising career in movies and became one of the most prolific voice actors anywhere.
Luke
Very much
Skywalker.
so. Yeah.
Luke
Yeah.
Skywalker, yep. Also the Joker and so many other great characters. And then, I mean, if I'm going to go that route, I'm going to round out the trio, and you can't have any kind of a party without Carrie Fisher. I mean, you never know what Harrison's going to do. You never know which voice and personality Hamill's going to be, and you never know what Carrie Fisher's going to say. I think that'd make a damn good dinner party.
That's a good one. I like that
Awesome.
one. Is it
Han
just the four of
Solo.
you, or is it a Food Sport Pro League
Yeah,
UEC dinner?
I think that's going to have to be. It's going to be a complete throwdown.
I mean, with AI, we could probably make that happen. It might be the
Actually,
same,
probably could.
but
Yep, yep, facts.
Love it. Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, and Princess Leia. Good
Yep.
choices. And Casey, give me your guess before we wrap this up.
what if they start making out at the dinner table? That'd be weird. That-
Oh yeah, forget their brother and sister. Yeah.
Yeah.
we
In the
didn't know
film.
that
In the
at
film.
first. You know what? I would say corny, but always been a big fan because he was very telling of the story of what it was like to work in restaurant business, and that was Anthony Bourdain. So definitely that dude. Because he's definitely going to be either entertaining or bring you to the places that no one else has been to. So that's one of them. I had a nice lunch on the show with Madeline um, Madeline Albright, who was she was part of American government for a while, and she since passed away. And we talked about goulash for like an hour and a half, and she was very sweet. And this is what just come to mind. I mean, there's a lot of people I'd probably have a meal with. And then Leah Chase is she taught me how to make gumbo from scratch. She was 92 years old, and she taught me how to make gumbo from scratch in New Orleans. And
Okay.
after that, we sat and talked for like 2.5, 3 hours about food and people and New Orleans. And so, yeah, I think, I mean, the list goes on, man. This is a tough one. Mark really summed it up. I'm not that good. Mark summed it up. I
Awesome.
could keep going.
But it was the top of your head, though. That's the thing, and they still have meaning as to why you
Mhm.
said
Yeah,
what was dream
it was
guest.
very impactful. Like, I want to continue the conversation or have another conversation or have a conversation for the first time. So
That's
true
cool. That's
story.
cool. Guys, thank you very much for your time. I do appreciate it. I wish you good luck for the FPL, and hopefully there's plans for it to come to the UK because I'll be there. As I said, there's a reason why I sit down. I love my food, so if there's a way I can participate as well, I know it's chefs mainly, but the belt looks good, so got my eye on
Just as
it.
long as you wear
Uh,
that shirt, you got to wear that shirt.
so before recording, I did say I actually was inspired by shirts that Casey would wear on Man versus Food, so I'm glad you acknowledged it. Lads, where can the listeners find you both on social media? Mark, plug away.
You can find me under Chef Mark Conway on all the Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, everywhere, and then of course the Food Sport Pro League on both.
Brilliant. Give them a follow. And Casey, where can they find you?
Some of it's Casey's Call, and then some of it's I Am Husky for Life, and then obviously Food Sport Pro League and Ultimate Eating Championship thrown in there too. It gets hard. You'll find Mark and I. It's pretty
Mhm.
easy.
Give them a follow. find them. Please do. Brilliant episode. It's absolutely flown by, honestly. We had some technical difficulties. God, now I'm stuttering now. But I absolutely didn't ruin the interview at all. I thought it was a blast. It's flown by. Really enjoyed it. Give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, give me a follow on my social media handles. They'll be in the description below. But for now, everyone, have a great weekend. I'm definitely going to pig out now after this interview. Take care.
Welcome